What's going on? This is Hugo from Tantric, and if you're not in the now, you're in the nothing.
All set?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome, ITN friends. I'm Brett with InTheNow magazine, sitting here with
Hugo Ferreira
from Tantric.
Yes.
Appreciate you taking the time
Thank
today.
you, man. Thank you.
All right, awesome. So, Hugo, real quick, you guys are currently on tour through February this year, it looks like. How's that going so far?
It's been, we've been on tour for a long time. I mean, probably over a year and a half. So it's, been good. We've probably been every place that you can possibly imagine. And we're having fun. You know what I'm saying? I like it.
Awesome, playing for the fans, right?
I'd love to play music, man, whether there's fans there or not, but it's definitely beneficial when there are people that are listening to it,
Absolutely. Well, Hugo, I'm going to dip back a little bit into the history of Tantric. I think a lot of fans out there might have the premonition that the guys from Days of the New came in, and my impression was that they kind of looked you up, but maybe that's not quite the story. What happened?
Well, it's so funny because Days of the New and Tantric are the most connected bands of all time. But basically, Travis had started Days of the New. I was in another band called Merge that we were both managed by the same company, and Days had gotten their deal and were succeeding. And as that happened, for whatever reason, Travis let go the other band. So we had known each other, and basically it was, it was a perfect opportunity. And I lived in Detroit, and it takes a certain breed of people to be able to do this. It's very glamorous, but then when you really do it, so it just so happened that it connected since we already knew each other, and I had written all these songs, and then we basically just kind of joined forces, and that record was, and it's still one of my favorite records of, in general, was written of just like us being broke and living in Kentucky, and those guys starting from scratch again. And it became Tantric, but Tantric was always supposed to be a little weirder, and that's it's a boat that carries music. It doesn't necessarily have to be, even though everybody says we're post-grunge or whatever, to me it's just whatever is inspirational at the time.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I was reading where you once stated that Tantric isn't necessarily a band, but it is, like you said, a boat that carries music.
It is.
So now I kind of get into, obviously, there's been a lot of lineup changes with Tantric. All those guys are now departed from the band.
Right.
We've had a few different people come in and so forth. So is that still your philosophy? I mean, is Tantric still a boat that carries music? Do you have a stable band now?
I do have a stable band, and even the other incarnations were stable. Life happens, and see, my life is Tantric and music, and to me, it's it's just more meaningful, and it's it's a part of me in a different way than it is for other people. And when I write normally alone. I'll just write tons in lieu of a therapist. But I really don't expect, or I just really go with the flow, and when it's time for things to change, they change. But the important thing to me is that I have a really unbelievable job where I get to do what I love. It's not always the easiest job, but if it was easy, everybody would do it. But I think that it's what I'm supposed to be here for. And the guys that I'm playing with me now, from all of the guys, I think that, you know, just being the fact that we're a little bit older and got out of, you know, got our, like, asshole out, you know, when you're a little younger, yeah, you know, wisdom unfortunately comes with age, but, you know, it's a different relationship than, like, Tantric in 2001, where it was like double fist and vodka bottles and
right.
God knows what, you know, but it still always had, I think, internally the integrity that I believed in. You know, I never wrote songs for other people. I just wrote them as just a form of release or, you know, commentary.
So you never set out to be a rock star, so to speak?
No, not at all. I would actually consider myself the antithesis of what people consider a rock star. I mean, like my greatest reward that I get is like when I write something lyrically or musically that somebody else relates with so much that it makes them feel a little less crazy or a little less like the world is, you know, out to get them, you know, because, you know, we're ultimately more similar to each other than we are different. You know, some people, we're all different cultures, different, you know, languages, but, you know,
absolutely.
it's
Well,
still life at the same time.
so we all kind of connect in some way, in a sense, right?
We definitely connect in some way.
Whether
you know.
you're a musician, I'm a sales guy, this guy he's an engineer, whatever, we still,
you know, I think
all
that,
the places.
you know, if we knew 1% of what we don't know, we'd be the smartest people in the whole world. But I think that music is a good way of letting people feel without them being completely vulnerable, you know? And, you know, it's like if you're the only dude, like, crying in a place, it's awkward.
Right.
But if it's, like, in a mass and it's collective, there's just something magical that happens, and you know when it happens. You know, it's like when you know, you know. And, you know, it's like I said, I just try to, I don't really try to write anything. When I write, I just write what I believe and what I'm feeling. And, you know, I'm very blessed that I have all these wonderful people around me that, you know, pick up a lot of my slack because I'm very, very all over the place. You know, thus the 37 channels. I think I upgraded to like 164.
Well, so obviously 2014, busy year. You guys are touring, you're doing all kinds of things, and then obviously Blue Room Archives comes out, right?
That was just something I wanted to do because, you know, I write music of all sorts. You know, I'm Portuguese, so I grew up with European music. I love hip hop, I like rock, and, you know, rock was always the main vein, but there was all these arteries that I also enjoyed exploring, but then they never got to leave the studio. And to me, it wasn't really about it being like this incredible, like, success. I just wanted,
Are they on yet, or?
for the people, whether it be 1, 10, or 100, who appreciated it, I felt like, you know, they deserved their moment in the sun, and it was cool. And plus, you know, it also kind of gave this band the time to gel together, because putting 4 great musicians together, but it takes, you know, a year for those musicians to gel and become, you know, instinctually, like, feeding off each other.
Right, absolutely. So, so a while back, of course, you've probably seen it many times. Gene Simmons says rock and roll's dead. Now, I recently interviewed Mark Tremonti with Alter Bridge, and he had mentioned.
I know Mark real well.
Yeah, he's a great guy, super nice guy, and
Toured with them.
with Creed or Alter Bridge or
both.
Yeah.
But Creed was one of my first bigger tours. and he's always been just a great guy.
Mark's a super nice guy,
Yeah.
and you know, one of the things he had mentioned to me was not necessarily rock is dead, but it kind of is faceless. You know who Pink is, you know who Jay-Z is, but rock, what defines rock? So, what is your take, I guess, on rock?
I don't know. I think that. Hold on, I'm going to take a look at this. I think that, you know, rock stars back in the day used to be more glamorized, you know, and I think that, you know, we're not, rock guys are, you know, we're very basic format of, you know, music. You know, none of us like, you know, do our hair, you know, it's just like, you know, people that like to jam. However, you know, if you look at it from a business perspective, you know, the demographic of people that like music, you know, 70% of people buy country, you know, which is really pop now, you know.
I agree.
Because, and it's different, and it's, you know, at the end of the day, I hope that, and I think that when Gene Simmons said that, I think he didn't mean that it was dead. I think that, like, the format in which he grew up and he was a rock star, that format is dead and changed.
Sure.
But it's always going to change. Things change.
Right.
You know, the only thing constant in life is change.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree. So, well, I tell you what, you know, let me ask you just a couple more quick questions. I know
Sure,
you got to
sure.
get on stage here. So, you ever have a favorite band that you toured with? Toured with a lot of big names.
You know what, of course, you know, it was always great to tour with huge bands that I toured with, but, you know, I like to tour with bands that, you know, weren't even signed. You know, I like to, there's so much talent out there. The fact that you know, I'm the one who got through that pinhole, you know, doesn't mean that there isn't another 1,000 people that could have been in my spot and been, you know, them. But, you know, luck is when preparation meets opportunity, and I think that I was too dumb to know that I couldn't do it. And I really had it in my head that I'm going to do it or I'm going to die trying. And, you know, when you have that mentality, you know, it's like it's a fight or flight, you know what I'm saying? And you know, you perfect your craft, and I think that when you reflect something that's sincere, people might not dig that music, but they're like, you know, that's a real motherfucker, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. How about one last thing?
Sure.
How about a band that you hated touring with? Was there anybody that you're like, these guys are assholes, or, you know, just, I never want to tour with them again?
There are many of them, but I'm not one to talk about it because of my personal opinion, and you know that's just what it is, and I understand. I'm just one of those people who doesn't really like.
Absolutely, but they're out there though, right?
There's definitely a lot of them.
Okay.
Normally, you know, like, it's the less important they are, or relevant, the bigger they are, or, you know, it's just, you know, they put too much weight on the wrong thing. This is about perpetuating an art that was started in America. It's uniquely American. And, you know, rock and roll doesn't, you know, to me, in any other language, it's not rock and roll. And it was created by us, and nobody does rock and roll like America does. Nobody does hamburgers like America does. And it's just these certain things, you know.
Absolutely, completely agree. So, well, I tell you what, Hugo, any last words for your fans out there? You know, people, you know, looking forward to what's going to be new with Tantric 2015, new music. What's happening?
Definitely always new music. And I would just say that to the people who do like Tantric or other bands or any form of art, and they're they're things that coexist with people. So we do need people to keep it alive, you know, because we are only here because there is a here to be. So if people have to have some self-responsibility about, you know, what they want our generation to represent, or else there'll be like Hendrix and then a space and then, you know, whatever there is. So I would say listen to the records for free, but support your bands, because if you like something a lot and you want more of it, if you don't support it, it will die.
Hey, dude said 2 minutes.
Absolutely. So,
Dude said
well,
two
hey,
minutes.
listen, Tantric's on tour right now. Be sure to go check them out. Blue Room Archives.
Yes.
Check it out. Cynical, great single. Love it.
Thank you, bro.
Cheers.
Yeah,
All right.